Sub-zero temperatures can preserve even the most ancient mysteries, freezing them in time. It has been rumoured that Walt Disney himself is currently frozen and waiting to be reanimated in the future. While that is an interesting theory, the following discoveries are very real and will have you wondering what other massive discoveries lie frozen in ice. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 interesting discoveries. Body of missing climber Patrice Hivert found on Mont Blanc after 32 years. Our first chilling discovery takes place in the French Alps, where climbers would discover a mystery over 3 decades old buried beneath the snow. With a summit of over 15,000 feet, Mont Blanc is the tallest mountain in the Alps and all of Europe. Many consider the mountain to be the birthplace of modern mountaineering, explaining why nearly 30,000 climbers attempt to reach the summit each year. In July of 2014, 2 hikers set out to scale Mont Blanc, but they made a chilling discovery on their journey up the mountain. Frozen on a glacier with his ID, his equipment, and his skis was the body of Patrice Hivert, a French mountain guide trainee that had been reported missing 32 years earlier in 1982. Patrice was only 23 when he began his solo trek up the mountain, with a plan to ski back down after reaching the summit. The storm had hit the range during his climb, obscuring his ascent and causing the hiker to lose his life to the mountain. His father, Gerard Hivert, had completely given up hope of ever finding his son's body. When officials came to his home 32 years after his son's passing to inform him that the body had been found, Gerard was beside himself. It felt like losing his son for a second time. Gerard told France's RTL radio, "I'm a mountain man, and I would have preferred him to stay up there. He was better on a mountain than in a coffin. He was in his element." Patrice is not the only climber to lose his life to the mountain. On average, 100 lives are lost each year trying to reach the summit. The mountain is a technical climb to an experienced hiker, but it is not considered particularly difficult. However, many inexperienced climbers and tourists are drawn to Mont Blanc by the falsely advertised scenic long walk portrayed by local guides. Mont Blanc climber finds £205,000 worth of Indian jewels on glacier. It is estimated that the jewels inside the box were worth over £200,000. Instead of keeping the treasures, the hiker turned in the box and all of its contents. Each gem was packed into little bags, with some labelled "Made in India." It was that piece of information that would help officials determine that the lost jewels had been there for nearly 50 years. Let us go back to January 1966. The jewels are on board Air India Flight 101 on their way to the Geneva airport in France. Having miscalculated the aircraft's altitude, the plane's pilot sent the Boeing 707 with its 117 passengers directly into the mountain's summit. The plane left a massive crater in the mountain and was completely pulverized. Nothing could be identified and no passengers survived. Because of the time of year, any attempt to recover debris or bodies was called off because of the weather. Still to this day, pieces of debris are scattered throughout the mountain range. After delivering the box to the police, the jewels were then taken to the mayor of the local town, Chamonix, where they would be stored until the rightful owners could claim them. A local historian and acquaintance of the mayor, Francois Ray, speculated that the mayor and the climber had agreed to a 50-50 split of the jewels and had no intention of getting them to their rightful owners. Under French law, if no one could make a sound claim to them during a 2-year window, they would then belong to the mayor. Ray discovered the name Issa Sharoff while going through old insurance documents from a man in London that had filed a claim for lost jewels at the time of the crash. When news of this came out, 2 separate Isharoff families came forward to claim them. Both families, though unrelated, happened to be stone merchants, one from Spain and the other from Russia. It appears that neither family could claim the jewels, and it is difficult to find any more information about where they are today. There is a theory surrounding the plane crash itself. One of the 117 passengers on the Air India Flight 101 was Homi J. Baba. an Indian nuclear physicist and father of the Indian nuclear program. The theory comes from the book Conversations with the Crow, written by journalist Gregory Douglas. The book is a transcription of the alleged phone conversations between Douglas and Robert Crowley, a former CIA officer and second-in-command to the Director of Covert Operations. Among the many pages discussing the CIA's involvement in historical events throughout American political history, there is an alleged conversation with Crowley that suggests the CIA may have been behind the plane crash. The theory suggests that the CIA wanted to sabotage the progress of the Indian nuclear program by eliminating the physicist, and did so by planting suitcases with devices in the cargo of the plane. The plane crash occurred just 3 months after Baba had said India could build an atom bomb in only 18 months. This theory is purely speculation and based on the transcripts in Douglas's book. Massive discovery of a Yakagir mammoth. Frozen in the ice and weighing in at over 4 tons, the Yakagir mammoth is considered one of the most significant paleontological discoveries in our lifetime. The mammoth was preserved in the permafrost, with much of its carcass still intact after being frozen for an estimated 22,500 years near the village of Yakutia in Arctic Siberia, Russia. It took multiple excavations spanning over several years to gather all the remains of the Yakagir fossil. Once assembled, scientists determined that the mammoth was male and stood over 9 feet tall when alive. While the fully intact specimen is incredible in itself, the animal's stool held the most revealing information. With the stomach and intestinal tract still intact, scientists were able to examine the animal's last meal and, with that information, conduct and complete environmental reconstruction, enabling them to learn more about its ancestral diet, habitat, and lifestyle. By boiling and sifting the contents of the dung, the different plants and pollen they found indicated that the animal had died in the spring. One notable finding was a complete lack of tree pollen, leading them to believe that the mammoth lived in a treeless environment. This intrigued scientists, as all other woolly mammoths discovered to date all contained signs of trees in their stool. It seems that this mammoth found a way to get its nutrients by eating the vitamin-dense meadow grasses found along the marshes where the mammoth was discovered, in a part of Siberia that is still treeless today. The team could not determine an apparent cause of death, but speculate that the mammoth was highly malnourished. After a severe winter with little food, the mammoth laid down in the mud that would later engulf most of its body and freeze over until it would be discovered approximately 22,500 years later. Many of the world's mysteries are buried beneath the sand or hidden in the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean. If these discoveries have taught us anything, it is that frozen bodies, mysterious jewels, and prehistoric elephants are just some of the incredible findings that await discovery in the ice and snow. What other kinds of mysteries lay frozen beneath the ice, waiting to be discovered? Over 10% of the Earth's land area is covered in snow and glaciers, and we have only just scratched the surface. If there is one thing we can be sure of, it is that there are more discoveries out there, frozen in time, waiting to be found. But what do you make of these interesting discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.